Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So the final fight for the solo Coliseum, this run of it anyways, is here, and that is the Destroyer. So, in this one, there are two very differentiating cases. Whether people love the fight and find it easy, or hate it and eat a level 3 within like 1 bar of power. And reality is, the fight is actually quite easy. There are a handful of very good options, which we're going to break down in a second. First, we're going to take a look at the fight itself from the nodes. We need to know that Diversion is the Falter node, where every 15 seconds the attacker is inflicted with a Falter passive, causing all of their attacks to miss for 8 seconds. That is a very long Falter. If the attacker is out of the striking range, when this triggers, the defender is inflicted with 4-second Falter instead, which you can actually also use to your advantage. Then we have Avarice, granting Destroyer a small amount of power gain, but the power gain seems to be the main issue here for people because it's the Destroyer's own mechanic. Before we jump into the showcase of the fight, in general, unless you are using a champion that has access to Petrify or Wither, you basically want to prevent the Destroyer from throwing level 2s. So the first fight that I'm going to showcase for you guys is going to be with Onslaught, a champion that has 0 power control, and then we're going to have Deathless She-Hulk. I will use fights from my stream here because, well, to be absolutely honest, I don't have enough time to kind of re-record the fights themselves. Onslaught. So, we're going to mute the video, and here we can see how it went. Because it is quite late here. It is almost midnight. So, here he does activate the level 1, which is very, very bad, which is something that I didn't want him to do. But you can kind of lower his charges slightly by inflicting more debuffs on him. That is another way how to kind of counter Destroyer is inflicting a ton of debuffs, but still, you will never be able to inflict enough debuffs fast enough and allow him to spam your level 1s. Keep an eye out to that 31 number there. We don't want that to reach 100, otherwise he's going to go for his big power gain. And the big thing here is absolutely not letting him throw the level 1s. And then other than that, it is a very bare bones basic Onslaught fight, because Onslaught continuously keeps Neuroshocks on the opponent. I don't worry about Falter at all. If the Destroyer is the one getting the Falter, I can use that to get a free opening for a heavy attack, like right now, and, you know, push him to level 2. If I am faltered, then I just ignore it. That's how it basically works. And yeah, past this point, you know, Onslaught will work perfectly fine. We're going to go over some other options as well, don't worry. But obviously he ramps up and we have more and more Neuros. We want to make sure we always keep our degens paused the best we can, so they don't expire and I don't have to go for a level 2 excessively. Now I could have went for some level 3s here as well to ramp up my Neuroshocks faster, I suppose, but we're fine. So now we are in the 5 bar territory where I do need to start landing in my mediums. But in between me dropping heavy attacks and long level 1 animations, with Onslaught, it's not like the biggest deal in the world to throw that medium, really. As we can see here, we just baited it out, that's fine. Now the timer there is expiring, but I'm going to use Relic to squeeze in that heavy, the level 1. And again, pause that timer for the 5 light hits. And my Destroyer is faltered. That's another advantage for Onslaught in this fight, because if the Falter comes in the middle of your special attack, you will always have him pushed away. Now here I do risk it and I mess up. To risk it and I mess up a little bit. So I will have to reapply my degens with the level 2. Because, you know, it was a bit of a desperation situation where I was trying for better upside. But it's fine. We're just going to reapply the degens. Sacrifice 20 of my Neuroshocks. And now again I'm going to go in for the lights. I'm going to drop them, utilize the Falter. I'm going to pause the degens here just fine. I didn't activate my special yet, which I will now after I have... Oh no, I'm going to be going for level 3 still here, I think. Yes, I have decided that I'm going to squeeze in as much as I can here. And I'm going to land in the hits. So we got the 11 bars here. I think later on I did one better run, because I think this one might be my 13 bar run, and that later on I did a 14 one. But we still managed to, get to 12. And I think, yeah, later on I did 13 or 14 with Onslaught as well. But you can definitely do more as well. I'm not trying to pretend that I'm like the best Onslaught player here. But, still 12 bars. And this was like my first or second attempt with Onslaught for this fight as well. So it's not the trickiest of the fights to pull off, really. And I think at this point I decided that I'm just going to go for it. And the way I am going to do that is I'm going to push him red. And I'm going to go in here for a full combo. Activate my level 1 to increase the damage there. I'm going to immediately try and throw down that relic. And then I'm going to try and pause my degens, which I did. And then I'm going to throw my level 1. And we can see that even that 15th bar is going down quite nice. So it didn't quite take it all the way down, but it's nearly 16 bars. Quite nice. And the next fight that I'm going to be showing you is the Deathless She-Hulk. Obviously, Deathless She-Hulk is also perfectly suited for this. We're going to reduce the sound. And here, initially, I like to go for 2 level 3s, thus making the ramp-up process slightly harder. And I still don't want him to throw that level 1 initially. Like, if you don't want to go for the level 3s, then you can let him start using his level 1s from the beginning, basically. But, a bit of chip damage is not end of the world, because that is not the thing that's going to end up killing you, really, for the most part. So, again, I'm going for level 3 in order to inflict that Debilitate debuff, I think. That increases the duration of all my future debuffs. And with that, I will not need to heavy as often to make sure my fear debuff is active so I can bypass miss. That is kind of like one of the best advantages. And if I do mess up, I have more room for error. For instance, if I don't have fear debuff and I get the falter on me, then, my debuffs will not fall off. And here at this point, he is almost ramped up. I wouldn't have wanted him to throw that. I don't want him to get 100 charges before I throw my next level 3. So I am being quite careful. And now, at this point, we should be fine. I'm going to get the second level 3, the second Debilitate debuff. Debuffs last even longer. And until I get my level 2, I still need to be wary of that power gain. However, I can just about always be sure that I have my, fear active now. That lasts a nice long while. And obviously, whenever it's about to expire, I can just carry heavy as well. Or, again, like with Onslaught, utilize the falter on the Destroyer to just go in for a heavy attack. Here, I did run out of fear. So I do need to reapply it. I hope I notice it, because I think in one of these fights I do mess up. Yeah, I did notice here. So I do reapply my fear. Wonderful. And with level 2s, Deathless She-Hulk has Wither active. And with that, I don't need to worry about his power gain. So I can let him throw whatever specials he wants. I actually kind of prefer him throwing level 1s, because then I don't have to dex. And I will not be getting potentially that chip damage back. So level 1s are actually kind of better for Deathless She-Hulk. Another pro tip here is you do want to use Spidey 99 Relic, even though mine appear to be bugged and still I got all the precisions. But, that's fine. And other than that, we're just going to do progressively more and more damage as we are getting more and more trauma debuffs. And we're just going to be landing in all the required hits in order not to be put down to sleep. And if he does get power gain, it gets reversed. It doesn't get fully reversed, but it gets completely mitigated plus tiny bit reversed. So you don't need to worry or fear level 3 whilst a power gain passive is active on Destroyer. And this is definitely the most suitable way. But for vast majority of the champions, you just want to make sure he doesn't get to throw level 1s, and they'll be fine. With champions that have Wither and have Petrifies, you don't care about that. And we're going to go over some of the best options right after this fight. And so we are at 7 bars down already. And 8. And kind of like closing in rapidly on more and more and more. And here the trickiest bit really is going to be just to kind of manage the fight, getting in all the hits quickly enough, making sure how my heavy landed, and yeah, that's basically it. Making sure I land my mediums and lights in time, making sure that the wither is active from my level 2, and making sure that my fear debuff is active from a heavy attack. So there are 3 relevant things happening in this fight in order to keep it completely contained, completely under control. Here I do make a mistake, but that's fine. Well, it wasn't a mistake. I just didn't expect him to dash back, but I knew he was faltered. That's fine. So I want him to throw that. That is perfectly okay. I am the one getting faltered now, but I'm not worried. So he's at 11 bars of power. And I'm going to go in for the lights. Fade out that. Fade out all the hits here. Go for my level 2 to make sure Wither is applied. We're at 12 bars already. And he's faltered, so I can easily go into my heavy attack safely. And we're doing a ton of damage now. We really are. We're doing a very, very nice amount of damage. And managing still to control the fight completely. In fact, it's quite obvious that the way I'm going to die is when I'm not going to be able to, land enough hits within that mandated timer. Because I do think it gets kind of like a bit too hard at like power bar number 18 or something like that. And still, this is a rank 3 Deathless She-Hulk. By the way, a lot of people asked if she needs to be awakened. She does not need to be awakened for this fight to work well. And we're nearly done here. We are closing in on the finish line here. So 17 bars, I'm gonna die soon. Because I think I still manage these hits in, but not necessarily the next ones. I think these mediums are gonna be the ones that pick me off. They're going for medium into relic. I shouldn't have. I should have tried to. Yeah, and that's it. I die. But realistically, you can do more than the 18 bars. Right. That said, let's look at the best options the community is choosing. So, top attackers, Deathless She-Hulk. So, anybody with higher amount of proficiency coefficient is kind of doing the best work. So, if you see a lot of people using a champion, but they do not have very high proficiency, that generally means the champion's not working out too well for these people. So Deathless She-Hulk and Onslaught obviously are the best and the most popular choice with 5 and 406 in proficiency. Void is doing fairly steady job. It's not a fast fight, but it's a very safe and secure fight. Besides that, I do think we need to highlight Quicksilver. Quicksilver is also like not the fastest, not the most bars, but kind of like safe, steady, kind of tricky to mess up. Captain Britain is fair. You can easily get 10 plus bars with her as well. Besides that, Shuri did very well for me. On my first attempt, I did like 10 bars with Shuri. So that worked out tremendously well. Finally, Miles Morales does well too. Jessica Jones and Spider-Man 2099. Those two, as well as Mr. Fantastic, are also very, very effective. Because they do have the ability power rate mitigation there. So those are the best options here. For sure. By far. And yeah, that's it. I hope this video was useful to you. And I'm going to catch you soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all